Yo, what's going on? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to edit fast in Fortnite. You may have seen my videos I did in the past that had a couple unique tips on how to improve your edit speed, but this video is going to be a full in-depth guide on how you can improve your edit speed and timing to become an extremely fast and concise editor. If this helps, make sure to subscribe and like and use code dollafn in the item shop. The first thing that you need to do is figure out what exactly it is that you're lacking that makes you slower than pros or other fast editors. There are two main attributes that combine to make up your editing speed. A, your edit timing, and B, your crosshair placement and speed. First off, edit timing. Edit timing is the time it takes for you to select a tile and confirm after you initially hit your edit key. The closer together you can press your edit and select key, the better your edit timing is. What I mean by this can be exemplified when I pull out a floor like this. As soon as I press my key to edit it, I also want to be selecting the tile so that it goes from blue to gray as soon as I edit it. Ideally, I never even want to see the blue. Once you have your timing really good, you can select the edit and the tile at the exact same time, so that it just goes straight to gray. There are a couple different ways to practice your edit timing, but the easiest one is by doing an edit tower like this. In Raider's old mechanics training map, V3, there's an edit tower section where it's just infinite floors stacked on top of each other. Here you can practice doing what I explained a second ago over and over again. Edit timing is where your ping comes into play the most. When you're playing on 0 ping, there's no delay to the server, so as fast as you are, you can edit. But if you're playing on 60 ping, there's a limit of how fast you can be. And if you switch between the two pings, you have to control your effort and adapt to each ping as you go to go as fast as possible. The next way to practice edit timing is just by doing spammy single tile edit free builds. You can start off with whatever you can do a couple times, but not infinitely, like double edits or triple edits, and then once you get them down, you can advance to harder edits like quads or even folds. I also showed in my shorter videos on this topic that you can bind your select building edit to the same key as your normal edit key so that it kicks you out of your edit as soon as you hit the edit key. That way it forces you to get better timing. This trick only works on edit release though, so heads up and make sure that you don't leave it on once you're done practicing. The next thing you need to practice is your crosshair placement and speed. Once you select an edit, the other thing that can cap how fast it gets edited is how fast and concisely you can select all the tiles that you want to edit. First off, for the crosshair placement, basically everyone already knows what it is, but I'll explain it briefly. For your crosshair placement, basically, when you edit, you want to make a concise movement. Instead of going all the way like this and making a huge movement to select these 4 tiles, you can just start in the middle here and make a small, concise, quick movement to get the exact same action done with way less movement. This is just more efficient in general, as it means you have to move your arm a lot less than if you're doing these huge movements. The other facet of crosshair placement is where you end your edit in accordance to where your next edit starts. If you saw right here, as I edit my ramp down, I want to end the ramp edit where my floor edit starts and then finish the floor edit where my next ramp edit is going to start. When you can do things like this, it'll make it so that, again, you have to move your crosshair less so that you can actually be faster and more efficient. As for the speed part, it actually greatly depends on how fast you can move your hand or thumb on controller, and this is controlled partly by your sensitivity. Having a faster sense will allow you to move faster easily, but it will be harder to be controlled and consistent, while a slow sense will do the opposite. Another cool way to train your hand speed is by going down to a sense much slower than you usually play on and attempting to do the same free builds you normally do for a couple minutes. This will make it so that you have to move your hand significantly faster, which will result in your hand just becoming faster in general. It'll make it easy to stay consistent, but harder to move really fast. While we're in settings, it's also important to look at your edit bind. Your edit bind should be something that's either on your index finger, or the other option is putting it on a mouse button or on your thumb so that it doesn't hinder your movement when you click it. And another quick thing that you need to make sure you have enabled in your settings is scroll wheel reset. You can bind scroll wheel reset by making your secondary building edit your scroll wheel as well as your secondary reset bind. Now, in the background, I'll roll some edit courses that you can do every day to continue to build muscle memory to become a faster editor. But while that plays, I'll explain some fundamental tips you can do to become a faster edit instantly without any practice just by thinking about it and implementing it into your gameplay. First off is the difference between accuracy and speed. People often distinguish between the two, but I think they're actually majorly intertwined. Messing up an edit is actually way more detrimental to your total speed than doing a couple edits a fraction of a second slower than possible. By improving your accuracy and focusing on consistency, you'll speed up your mechanics a great deal by cutting out any mishaps that drag down your total speed. If you look at the mechanics of someone like Epic Whale, it may seem that he's slower than someone like Clicks, but this really isn't the case. Since Whale is so consistent and almost never messes up, it makes it so that he's on par with people like Clicks and faster than 99.9% of the people that play the game. Another thing you have to understand is the bias that everyone has to practice the things that we're good at over the things that we need work on and are worse at. For example, if you think that you're a good in-game player or just love to aim train, and since you're so good at these things, you find it easiest to just play them instead of the things you actually need to work on. It's super frustrating to do the things that you actually need to grind because being bad at something is just inherently frustrating. Anything that you're subconsciously avoiding is the perfect thing to put into your routine to practice. I know we all have that friend that's super good at box fighting, for example, and he refuses to play you in anything else. This is what happens when we only practice certain mechanics as well. Say for example, you're really bad at triple editing, so you do double edits only. Instead of avoiding the things you suck at the most, it's important to embrace them and tackle them head on to overcome them and get better. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what you're bad at yourself, so if you can't think of anything, try playing with a friend that's preferably equal skill level or better than you so that they can tell you what to do better. The next thing you can be doing is making a list of the moves that you do. Everyone, no matter how good they are, has an arsenal of their most frequent moves. Once you've narrowed these moves down, it makes it super easy to isolate and tackle them and make sure that you can do them as fast and consistently as possible. A couple examples of moves that you should have down pat are things like editing up your cone and out the sidewall when somebody takes your wall, double editing down and piecing below, triple edit into a phaseway retake, and other things like that. Once you've gotten completely comfortable and speedy doing everything in your arsenal, you can look to expand your arsenal by learning new moves and mastering them as well. The last thing I want to address is editing with your gun or pickaxe out versus just blueprint editing. A lot of people like to edit with their pickaxe out because it looks and feels faster for some reason, but I'll be the first person to say there's literally no use case for this ever. If you can think of a single scenario where it's better to have your pickaxe out than your shotgun or blueprint edits, feel free to drop it in the comments because I genuinely don't think there is such scenario. Now, as for shotgun versus blueprints, I still think that 99% of the time it's best to edit with your blueprints out. First off, blueprint editing allows you to edit from further away, but secondly, it allows you to edit without pressing any other binds. You can just press the edit key as soon as you're done placing the builds. The only viable times for you to edit with your shotgun out is A, when the builds are already placed and all you have to do is edit through them to take a shot at your opponent. This is viable because it pulls out your shotgun for you when you confirm the last edit, which is faster than you can just pull it out manually. And B, there are certain times when if you have a certain build out, it won't let you edit the build in front of you. In these cases, you can just switch to the build that you're trying to edit, or you can take out your shotgun. Thank you all for watching. No long outros, bye.